Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the Wine with Jimmy channel. Thank you for clicking by. Delighted to have you on board. This channel, as I'm sure you are aware, is all about wine education. I bring wine to everyone, specifically designed for those of you really wanting to get into the fine detail for your studies of wine to help you pass major qualifications such as the WSET, so Wine and Spirit Education Trust. So thank you very much for joining me here on the Series 5 of Chile. There's some wonderful vineyards from Rogue Vines in your picture. And Series 5 is split into two parts. So this part 1, is on the Itata Valley. Part 2 are all the others. So Bio, Maleco, the Cautín and also Osorno valleys. That part is only available to those of you who subscribe to my e-learning portal. That's over at www.winewithjimmy.com. So you'll find that information at the bottom of the slide and in the description. It's an exclusive portal with lots of extra video content and helpful studying resources, and it's ad-free. So you'll find it very useful for your studies. If you have a comment or question, please do get in touch by leaving that comment. Potentially you've been to Chile, you know some producers from the Itata Valley, you have some recommends, some restaurants, maybe you have a comment or a question about this specific video, please leave that below. Let's talk about the region where we find Itata. This is what we call the southern region, and of course nestled in the southern section of Chile. Now it consists of three traditional areas, that is Itata, which we'll look at soon, Bio, and Maleco. But there are two newer subregions, Osorno Valley and Cautín in the Austral region. Now, the coastal hills diminish as we head south here. You'll see that identified on the topographical map on the left-hand side. So there are fewer hillsides to protect the inland regions from the Pacific Ocean. So the climate here gets cooler and it gets wetter. In the Bio, for example, the average rainfall regularly exceeds 1,000 millimeters. That's something like 40 inches. And the summer temperatures rarely exceed 30 degrees Celsius. That's 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So therefore, moisture, humidity is around. So fungal disease can be an issue, but we do have very active coastal breezes, and coupled with good understanding of the vineyards and good canopy management, we can mitigate the risk of disease pressure. Now, despite the cooler days, we have longer growing season days due to the higher latitude here at 36 to 38 degrees south. So this will help the grapes ripen, of course. Let's locate where we find the Itata Valley in orange on the map on the left-hand side. Now, its boundaries cover an area measuring roughly 60 miles north to south and kind of 60 miles east to west. That's 100 kilometers north to south, 100 kilometers east to west. So it's a largish area, but despite that, there is little land to vine, so low density of vineyards here. But it is a historical area. It's a cool climate area dominated by plantings like Carignan, Muscat of Alexandria, and Pais. But producers, of course, are looking to tap into the modern movement, and international grape varieties like Cab Sauv, Cab Franc, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay are of importance here too. Now, the Pacific Ocean, of course, is to the west with the Humboldt Current, and that brings you that cooling effect. The Bio is just to the south around Conception, and that major port city of Conception is about 40 miles southwest of most of the vineyards here in Itata. So there's your map here again. The area in terms of topography is very much defined about the meeting point, the confluence of two rivers. That's the Itata and the Nuble rivers that you have written on the slide just there. And the vineyards are found on many towns or around many towns situated on these rivers. So like Chilean, Quilon, and Colomu as well. They're the major sort of establishments. Now, we don't have many of the coastal ranges here. They are diminished and they very much start to disappear near Conception, for example. So Itata is relatively exposed to the elements of the Pacific. So we therefore get higher rainfall, some cloud cover that rolls in from the Pacific. But that being said, the vineyards here still enjoy a good amount of sunlight due to the sort of 38, 39 degrees south latitude. And in fact, the name of the town, the etymology of Chilean, the first one there on your list, means the place where the sun is in local, the Mapuche language. Viña Riveras de Chilean there, close to the Itata River in your picture. Geology-wise, so the cool climate here is complemented by alluvial soils made up of sandy and clay loams, and that's deposited in the valley over time by the Itata and Nuble rivers. They're relatively fertile, these soils, but they are well drained, making them suitable for high-yielding viticulture. Let's talk about the key grapes to wrap up this presentation. There is certainly a favour to traditional varieties such as Pais and Muscatel de Alexandria or Muscat of Alexandria. These predominate in the region, and in fact the two bottles you see there are both of those. So La Causa, Pais, and then the Rogue Vine Muscatel. It's actually a blend with a little bit of Semillon and Riesling as well, but Muscatel makes the mainstay of that. Now, there is a movement towards other varieties. Now, Pais Muscatel are top, kind of neck and neck in hectares. Sanso is actually in third place, but then comes a real onslaught of international varieties. So Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Merlot, and Carmenère. And also there's 250 hectares of Chasselas in this area, which is very fascinating indeed. Okay, let's look at the Google Earth video for this area. So there's Chile. We'll focus on the southern region. Remember, an area where the coastal hills have diminished, so it's colder and wetter. And then we'll go into Itata, which is a low vineyard density area towards the north of the southern region. They're outlined in orange, about 40 miles northeast of Conception, the port city. A few towns here, so Chilean, Quilon, and Colomu. Now, these three are where we have a focus of many vineyards. And the first of those, which is the Chilean, is actually in local language means place where the sun is, because we are actually at fairly high latitude here, which creates fairly sunny conditions. Now, the major topographical features here are the two rivers. So we have the river of the Itata River, and then we have the Nuble River, which runs more into the north. The confluence, you'll see clearly outlined very shortly. Now, these rivers will bring alluvial soils, which are well drained and fertile to this landscape. So very much defined by those two rivers you'll see just there. Okay, well, that brings me to the conclusion of Itata. Please do join me for all of the other parts of the southern region. So this is Bio and the likes of Maleco, Cautín, and Osorno in part 2. If you wish to watch that, you'll have to go across to www.winewithjimmy.com in order to subscribe for all of that exclusive video content, ad-free, and lots of extra training resources. Please do get in touch as well if you have a comment or question. But until next time, I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now. Goodbye.